So last night I was doing a little bit of editing to episode 1. I had my Facebook on and a little notification just popped up and I was feeling awful nervous. At this point, I hadn't sent out any of my emails really to my friends. But
say hello to Lorna Masson, so CMS legend, Pantheon legend, and now TikTok fame because she was doing some magic. It was very bold and pretty impressive. So Lorna, it's good to see you here. Johnny, you said
the boys are doing their own episodes. How cool is that? I need to talk to Michael. Horton the elephant heard a small noise. It's me.
So I reached out to Michael. I reached out to all the boys, basically, that are in the Brammers. Because I didn't want to be weird. They've got other halves and I have another half, and it's a little bit strange, you know, messaging guys out of the blue when you haven't really messaged them in years. So that was another conversation with the mystery man. He's totally supportive. Anyway, the boys get back to me pretty straight away. In fact, Mark Long got back to me straight away. I was able to bag a couple of interviews with Mark and Michael. But Michael is class clown. He's the funny guy. He's the prankster, pain in the bum. And he's one of my oldest friends. I had to talk to Michael. Michael's dealt with some serious stuff in his life and just got on with it. Proper stiff upper lip. Proper stiff upper lip. It's quite hard to say. Proper stiff upper lip. Everything's hard to say for me. Anyway, be prepared to see a side of Michael that a lot of people don't actually get to see. Michael's a performer. He's constantly performing, and in day-to-day life he's quite a lively, charismatic guy. But he carries around some serious scars and he wears them with pride because these are memories not to be forgotten. Michael's going to feature again later down the line with the other guys that I've been reaching out to. I did end up speaking to Michael for over an hour. So Michael's going to feature in a couple of episodes. He's so difficult to edit. I seem to bump into him all over the place. All over the place. Kind of been there in the background or bumping into me in Largs with Heather, his fiancée, should be his wife by now because the lockdown, their wedding had to be postponed. And Heather was is another friend of mine from Pantheon. And again, when I was housekeeping, well, I won't name it, but I was at a hotel locally. I was a housekeeper. I was housekeeping supervisor. There was a couple that weren't checking out. They were taking their time. So me being the supervisor, I was like, oh right, okay, it's half an hour past their checkout time. I've got a schedule to meet. Chap. There's Heather. Anyway, I'm talking about Heather loads now because we're going to talk about Michael. And Michael needs no introduction.
Oh hey, right, hi, hang on.
hello.
When I come back, everything's different. So I was like, oh, TikTok, what's that?
No, I know, I like that one. It was
Oh, cheers. Only
me,
TikTok okay to do, by the way. You know, I was like, erase, like delete, erase. Who says that? So hi, Michael.
Hello, Lorna.
For the people that don't know you, tell us who you are.
So I'm Michael Reilly, probably one of the more longer standing performing friends of Lorna, I would imagine.
I would say worse, as
yeah.
in I, one of my oldest.
I'm Lorna's first, ladies and gents.
Could have been one of my first friends. Oh geez, oh that's mad. We met in CMS.
Yeah, Clydebank Musical Society. And of course NYC, yeah, started.
You were a rooster?
And that was the second time that I played rooster. I played rooster in primary 6. I grew into the Clydebank Musical Society, have a limited wardrobe selection. I think probably most places will like recycle costumes. And I think any guy who's ever played part or a series of parts in the CMS has worn the mustard suit. And if there's guys or anybody from the CMS who tends to watch this, will recognise that they've been in a show with a guy wearing the mustard suit, or they have indeed worn the mustard suit. I've worn it, Scully's worn it, everyone's worn this mustard suit.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a staple. I have a photograph of you in the mustard suit.
Oh, I don't even know if I have a photograph of me in the mustard suit, so there we go.
Kellyanne and Marilyn
yes.
hall dressing rooms.
I do remember that photo now.
I even talk about when you gave me a wee shout out. Like, I was in the middle of making episode 1 part 2.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, I'd like to say hello to the legend that is. And I was like, but episode 2 is, am I brave enough? I'm putting it into perspective that my friends that are kept going. You know, Éimi Quinn has an agent now after cancer and weight loss and everything else, you know. Abbie O'Neill had scoliosis and had insane major surgery done to her spine, and now she throws herself about when she's dancing. She just does, she does so much in vlogs and does loads of stuff. So their interviews were really good, and Éimi Quinn is so funny. She's a total comedian.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not sad, it's not morose, it's really uplifting. Anyway, I'm a little bit biased, but I think other people will take a lot from their stories. Just some testosterone. I ran it past Mark. I said, do you think Michael would be up for contributing to that episode? And he goes, aye. Like, I don't think he puts it into an emotional part of his head.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he was like, yeah, just ask him about it, couldn't hurt. I was like, alright, okay. I was nervous about asking you.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Because I have memories of before I knew you, really. You were ill. Because we moved to the street that I grew up in, really. My best friend went to your school. I remember her saying that there was a boy that was really sick and they were all going up to the church to pray for him. Yeah. And I got to meet you a few years later. And the kind of penny dropped. I was like, oh, really? He was that... Doesn't look like he was ever that sick. He's been about the place. He's the class clown. He's the...
Yeah.
You've just never really given that impression across that you've ever let it hold you back.
I was ill when I was so young, but I think, and I don't think it's really impacted me when I've been older, but it's probably more like formative, like early in the CMS. Like, it gave me a place where I could be like the class clown, or be the kind of the funny one, or be the wee kind of main guy type of thing. So I've always been kind of show offy and whatever else, but I was probably like protected at like football training. I was like, I would go and do the kind of the boy things, and we spoke about this when we done like our my guys chat, where like I still done the kind of classic wee boy things, but I was always kind of protected because it was wee Michael who'd been well, whereas there's no physical harm coming to you in like musical theatre, so it allowed me to get in and be, I was getting parts, whatever. Then you were kind of like wee cocky and all that, you know, wee kind of bouncy guy and whatever.
You know your place.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I was wanting to ask you, because you have, and this might be a bit personal, but you have a tattoo on your arm. I remember this. Yep.
Yes.
I was wondering if you would tell me what that is.
So this line, and actually it'd be funny to actually tell this story that people will watch and will be able to get the explanation of it, because it's a funny one that...
Is it became an urban...
well, alright, so I'll explain what it is, right? So it's a line from, and I'm holding it up as if like people will read the music backwards, right? And it isn't like, you know, Mary had a little lamb and they've made an arse of it, right? It's a line from The Fields of Athenry, and it's the line, Michael, they have taken you away. Okay? If people see the tattoo and go, oh, what? And this is very much like a West of Scotland thing, what's on your arm? And I go, I've got the Fields of Athenry tattooed on my arm. They'll be like, oh, we Celtic, but all this kind of stuff, right? And it's not, although Celtic fans sing it, it's not a rebel song, it's an Irish folk song, right? There's nothing controversial about it. But I got this tattoo on my 19th birthday, so I've had it like, well, more than 10 years, which is mad now. And I kind of knew I wanted it for my 18th birthday and didn't get it because I thought I was like strangely sensible, like had enough about me to be like, no, don't get it for your 18th, but if you still want it for your 19th birthday, get it then, and then you know you really want it. So I got it at my 19th birthday. I've not got it because I sing it at Celtic Park, but I've not got it because it's a Celtic song or it's an Irish song or anything to do with that. I've got it because I remember really specifically, like, vivid memory of my 6th birthday in my house, where this was probably like my most ill when I was a child. I was allowed home to have my birthday in my house, and there was like a home video of the 5 of us in my family, so me, my mum, my dad, my big sister Kelly, and my brother John Joe, and my gran, and we were in a huddle, so we were in a huddle in the living room singing this song, and I just like remember being like, that must have been like such a moment for my family, have me home and allow me to have this birthday at home, because who knows what might have transpired after it. Might not have been so lucky, clearly. Like, that's could have happened. And it's just this moment where I think it's a beautiful song, and you know, I don't have it on my arm because I'm a mad raging Celtic fan. I have it on my arm because of like that story, being a wee boy.
So in a way, it's to remind you that you're loved.
Yeah.
If there's a reason to get a tattoo, that's one.
Yeah, And not many people get or hear that explanation, and it's funny because I'll tell people that's what the line is. So I've never lied and hid that that's what the line is. And if people kind of turn their nose up at it, in my head I'm just going, well, fuck you, basically.
Okay, so let's get going on your interview.
Okay.
So after talking to Abbie, Éimi and Michael, I've been looking at things totally wrong. As Abbie says, just tweak it. My normal kind of method of learning and performing, I just need to tweak it. If I need to write down what I want to say instead of improvising, I'll do that. But I'm trying to learn how to improvise a little bit better again. I've written myself down a little bit of a script on the back of an old envelope. I'm doing my best not to look at it too much, but I need it to stick to my points. But that's okay. Compromise. Next, as Éimi says, if it's scary, it's worth doing. And I've been treating my nerves like they're holding me back, when really they could be a bit of a superpower. Before I go on stage, I'm never really nervous. I'm more nervous about what my colleagues think about me. I almost black out or I glaze over. I don't see the audience. I get that excitement because I'm going to fill someone else's shoes for a wee minute. I want to do her shoes justice. When I'm feeling the bad nerves, I try and remember the good nerves and turn them into that now. And that's a touch of one of the therapies that has been recommended to me over the years. And then there's Michael. Michael wears his past on his arm, and I've been giving my past a hard time. She wasn't that bad. The person I used to be was maybe just as nervous, if not more nervous than I feel now. I just didn't have to worry about bills and council tax and all that stuff. So she was actually a lot braver than I am. She got me here. So, I've kind of been living like my friends are on one ship, and I've got my own little one-manned ship. Stay with me. I'm going somewhere with this. So I've been acting like they're on one ship, and I'm on the other. And we're passing, and I'm waving, but forgetting I know how to swim.